It was one of those rare nights when I found myself home alone. My parents had gone out of town for the weekend, leaving me with strict instructions to lock all the doors and windows and not to open the door for anyone. I was a responsible teenager, so I assured them I'd be just fine on my own. Little did I know that the night ahead would be the most terrifying of my life. My name is Lily, and at the time of this harrowing experience, I was a 16-year-old girl living in a quiet suburban neighborhood. Our house was a cozy 2-story structure that had always felt safe and secure. That evening, my plan was simple: order some pizza, binge watch my favorite TV series, and maybe sneak in some late-night ice cream. It was supposed to be a relaxing night of solitude, but things took a sinister turn. As the night fell, I curled up on the living room couch with a blanket, ready to dive into the world of my favorite show. The soothing glow of the TV cast a warm light on the room, and the familiar theme music filled the air. It was the perfect setup for a cozy night in. As I lost myself in the episodes, I gradually became aware of something odd: a soft scratching sound coming from the direction of the front door. At first, I dismissed it as the wind rustling a tree branch against the door, but the scratching persisted, growing louder and more distinct. My heart quickened, and I muted the TV to listen more closely. The scratching seemed deliberate, rhythmic, as if someone were running their fingernails along the wood of the door. Panic set in as my mind raced through the possibilities. Could it be an animal? A stray cat, perhaps? Summoning my courage, I cautiously approached the door and peered through the peephole. My heart leaped into my throat as I saw a man standing on the porch. He appeared disheveled, his clothes tattered, and his eyes vacant. He was scratching at the door with long, gnarled fingernails. A shiver of fear coursed through me as I backed away from the door. The man outside seemed deranged, and I had no idea what he was capable of. I remembered my parents' strict instructions: do not open the door for anyone. Panic gripped me as I fumbled for my phone and dialed 911. As I whispered my situation to the operator, the scratching at the door continued, growing more frenzied. The man was muttering to himself, his words incomprehensible. I could feel his gaze through the door, as if he were trying to pierce through it with his hollow eyes. The operator assured me that the police were on their way, but every second felt like an eternity. I retreated to the living room, my heart pounding, and searched for any means of defense. My eyes fell on a heavy fireplace poker, and I grabbed it, clutching it tightly in my trembling hands. Minutes dragged by, and the scratching at the door intensified. It was as though the man outside had lost all reason, consumed by a manic determination to get inside. I could hear him mumbling, his words growing clearer. "You have to let me in," he hissed. "They're coming for me. I need to hide." His words sent a chill down my spine, and I knew that letting him in was not an option. I held the fireplace poker tightly, ready to defend myself if necessary. The minutes stretched on, and I prayed for the police to arrive soon. Then, the scratching suddenly stopped. The silence was deafening, broken only by the distant hum of a passing car. I strained my ears, trying to discern any movement outside. Had he given up and left? Just as I was starting to breathe a little easier, I heard a sound that sent terror coursing through me. A soft click, followed by the creaking of the front door. The man was trying to force his way inside. With a surge of adrenaline, I rushed to the front door, gripping the fireplace poker with white knuckles. As I reached the door, it swung open, and I came face to face with the intruder. He was a gaunt, haggard man, his eyes wide with madness. His clothes were tattered, and his skin was covered in dirt and grime. In one hand, he held a rusted knife, its blade glinting ominously in the dim light. Fear gripped me, but I knew I had to act quickly. With all the strength I could muster, I swung the fireplace poker at him, striking his arm. He cried out in pain and dropped the knife. I seized the opportunity to push him back and slam the door shut, locking it with trembling hands. The man outside pounded on the door, shouting threats and obscenities. I retreated to the living room, my heart racing, and stayed on the line with the 911 operator. The police arrived just in time, and the intruder was apprehended. It turned out that the man was a mentally unstable individual who had wandered into our neighborhood. He had a history of violent outbursts and had been reported missing by his family. He was taken into custody and placed in a psychiatric facility for evaluation and treatment. As I watched the police car drive away with the intruder inside, I felt a mixture of relief and lingering fear. The night had been a living nightmare, a stark reminder that danger could strike even in the most familiar of surroundings. My parents returned home the next day, and I recounted the terrifying ordeal to them. They were grateful that I had followed their instructions and not opened the door, and we installed a security system to ensure our safety. That night remains etched in my memory as a chilling reminder of the vulnerability that comes with being home alone. It taught me to trust my instincts, to be prepared for the unexpected, and to always prioritize my safety. It was a night when I learned that courage can emerge from the darkest moments, and that the true test of strength is surviving the horrors that lurk in the shadows.